So speaking of Me Too, did you hear the story that came out yesterday or the day before about Warren Beatty? You know who Warren Beatty is, old school actor, Bugsy. He was married to Annette Bening for a long time. Pretty famous, older. He's got to be in his 80s now, Sohill, maybe. He's
Well, he did a lot of things. This is
him.
if he's in the I don't know who this is.
You've never seen Warren Beatty? You know who Annette Bening is, probably.
I'm not good at.
He's 85.
85. So there's a gal.
He was born in 1937. Do you know how much stuff he's done before iPhones?
Bruh. So there's a gal suing him. She filed on Monday in some LA court, suing him civilly for Me Too, saying that he came after her when she was like 14 or 15.
Oh.
And we're
there's not really going to be a statute of limitations most likely on that.
How are we? Well, in California passed that law, right? There is no statute of limitations on Me Too type stuff. I mean, I obviously know.
When it comes to criminal offenses, that's pretty common even in Texas that they're not going to make a statute of limitations, which it's a double-edged sword. So you have sometimes where it's like, yeah, that needed to happen. There's an obvious reason why there's not a statute of limitations because this dude was older, that person was very younger. But when it comes to I don't know, civil cases, I'm less inclined to make it a entirely no statute of limitations situation because there's really not going to be any evidence of that. And like back then, whenever it happened, let's see, how many? So he's 85.
85
minus 14, so 81,
I don't know how old she was.
Yeah, I mean that's
like I don't know how much. I don't know how old.
Let's
she
say
is
it's
now.
in like this.
In 73, she was 14 and 15, so it was multiple times. So 73, he was.
But like, what are they going to use? What's she going to use as evidence? Does she have like she's got to have like what, love letters or something like that? I mean, you weren't texting back then.
I mean, love letters would be pretty damn good evidence.
Yeah.
And that's an
Journal
example.
entries.
That's an example of journal entries.
Yeah.
That would be a contemporaneous description of it. I mean, obviously it'd be arguments both ways, but probably if somebody is 14 and doing that, they're writing out what is really happening to them. I mean, that seems like that would be more reliable to me than something that there's an obvious motivation for money, let's say, or something else. And I don't know, maybe she's just trying to let it be known before this guy dies and his legacy is
I was about to say that's
essentially preserved. Like that's probably what it was. And in 73, I mean, I think that's how a lot of these cases were done. I mean, it was pretty much like
Roman Polanski. I mean,
you get up there and you have to testify and suffer through cross-examination, but there's not going to be video evidence, recordings. There's not going to be a whole lot of stuff. And so it's a lot harder to prove that kind of stuff back in the day. But yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. I actually don't know who this guy. What movies is he in? Or does?
A lot of them. He was in Bonnie and Clyde. Bugsy. I don't know if you ever saw that. That was a pretty good. Like it was one of the kind of the first gangster comic book styled movies.
Heaven
Gosh.
Can Wait.
A lot of really good movies. He was in a movie with Halle Berry and Eddie Murphy called Bowfinger.
I don't think I've seen a single one.
Oh, he was in Bowfinger?
Yeah, bro. He's like the senator.
Yeah,
who's getting with Halle Berry, like
I don't
young
think I've seen
Halle
a
Berry.
single movie on that
Really?
list that I just saw. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I could be wrong. I used to like Dick Tracy back in the day.
Love Affair, Bulworth, not Bulworth.
Oh, and look at that!
Yeah,
How
Bulworth.
ironic is that? Rules don't apply.
2016, bro was in a movie.
Like rules don't apply, everyone.
That's
Get it?
That's crazy.
That's what set her over the edge. No,
Yeah, that, no doubt.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I remember
It's-
Dick Tracy. I barely remember. I remember I was kind of into him when I was younger, and I don't remember what he does. Or I remember he's like some kind of detective.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you're in the public eye now, I mean, aren't you, like, if you were a famous athlete, I'd be getting, like, all of the releases and waivers signed, getting, like, a video of, like, consent. Didn't Derek Jeter do that? Didn't he get, like,
I think
consents on video?
I think that's such a good idea, but if
you don't think that ruins the mood a little bit?
You know what? If it ruins the mood, and
Move on.
you're an A-list celebrity actor or somebody else, who cares if it ruins the mood? You move on to the next one if you're a single person.
Yeah.
I mean, like, don't take a chance that you're going to have to deal with this kind of stuff, because even a completely fictitious, made-up one can potentially hammer you down and really ruin your reputation. It's messed up. I think text messages are extremely important. Correct me if I'm wrong, was it Chris Brown is the one that got recently accused by somebody of some kind of sexual assault, whether it was through intoxication or otherwise, but he proved his character right very quickly before it became a civil lawsuit, before it became criminal offense, before it became anything, by just showing his text messages and be like, here's her being like, hey, are we going to hang out tonight? No. And then, let me see here. Yeah. So am I wrong on this? Yeah.
No, you're
I
right.
want to fuck you tonight at midnight, LOL. Where you at? Hey. And she went back after this and said that he sexually assaulted her. And he's just not responding to her messages, and everyone's kind of like,
yeah.
If you're sexually assaulted by somebody, like, there's probably a pretty good chance you weren't going to say, I want to fuck you tonight at midnight, LOL.
Is the texting, so you see this a lot in DMs too, voice notes. People will leave a voice note because then it's not written. And then I don't know, like, how long a voice note lasts.
Either one is... Oh, you mean like preservation ones?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think that's why some people do that, too. It's easier than typing out a text, I guess, because you don't have to proofread it. So it's way faster.
I have actually used that a lot. I didn't know that
I use it a lot,
I don't
too.
know that they... I didn't know that there was a destruction period on it.
I don't know if the app destroys it after a while.
We should figure that out, because I use that a lot, and I would like to know.
Do you do the voice notes on
iMessage? Like if
too?
if somebody is
If you're in
texting me
traffic?
something, if I'm driving, I don't want to be like,
Yeah.
I'm looking down here for a solid 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna look up at 4
Right.
seconds. Like, I don't want to do that kind of stuff.
No doubt.
So yeah, voice notes, but I would like to know about that.
I know in iPhone you have an option to keep it, but I don't know how long it keeps. And then, like in iPhone, if you have a conversation that's more than like 3 weeks old and you don't text with that person often, it just kind of gets stashed in the cloud. So when you're like trying to go through, you know how you'll get the wheel of death? Like,
I did not know that.
yeah, a lot of times it will index photos, attachments, things of that nature that are in your text thread. And unless it's like your mom, who you might text every other day, or your girlfriend,
They just get kind of siphoned away.
I think it's a setting. You can choose how.
Oh, I would not. I would
Really?
not like
Yeah,
that. I would
at
not
least
like
for
that setting.
at least for how long you can keep text. I don't know about the media messages.
Oh, there is
but-
for how long you can keep. Like I have mine on. I think the setting is called forever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine's
same.
the same
Because
way.
but in terms of flipping through and finding a photo, it has
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
index.
you're right, you're
That's
right.
a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Well, keep everything as long as you can. If there's an extra $1 a month or something, pay the extra $1. Don't lose evidence.
Yeah.
Don't lose it.
Right.
I mean, keep it around. Some people, my dad included, I think this is an old school thing. As they're going through their iPhone, they're like, "Well, I'm done with that
Yes.
text message. I'm going to go ahead and
Delete.
delete it." Don't do that.
No.
Like, hold on to that stuff. You never know when you're going to need it, when it's going to come back to become important.
Especially if someone's threatening you or they're talking
might
aggressively
need
to
it.
you.
And there is potentially a way to recover it through going after AT&T through a subpoena court process. But boy, it's a lot easier to just show a detective very quickly, here is what I was doing that night, because they're gonna, on some of the stuff we're talking about, they're gonna ask you something that happened years ago, or months ago, or even. I don't even know. I know what I was doing this morning, but yesterday morning, I'd have to think about it. And the morning before that, I'd have to look at my calendar.